Good evening and welcome. In the spirit of reconciliation, we gratefully acknowledge that we work, live, and play in the traditional territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, the Tsuut'ina, the Iaxostoni Nakota Nations, the Métis Nation Region 3, and all people who make their home in the Treaty 7 region of Southern Alberta. This evening's presentation is the result of a trial run for Flourish, Musical Theatre Creation Workshop. The goal of Flourish is to kickstart creative endeavors and to enhance skills key to musical storytelling through collaboration and accelerated timelines. It has been just 15 days since the creative team first met. Follow the development of this program at Flourish Musical on Facebook and Instagram. This is just one story of one person's experience. We acknowledge that we have all lost loved ones in varied ways, including sudden and tragic. Nonetheless, we hope this piece of theatre will spur thoughtful discussions about death and how we face it. A brief talkback session will take place after the good death, where we will address questions that you can leave in the comments section. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoy.
Charity Roberts, room 23, Sunshine Seniors Center, 455 Horse Street, Southwest, to be taken to Westside Funeral Home.
It's go time. Grab the keys, out the door. Gotta be ready when you're on the clock. Start the van, check the mirror. The Deathmobile is loaded and ready to rock. Got a call that someone has just reached the end of their journey. So it's my job now to load them up on my gurney. When it's time to go, I'm on my way 'cause it's go time. I'll be there to pick you up. Yes, I'll be there in no time. My passengers aren't much for conversation. It's okay, I'm just their means of transportation. I'll get them safely to the morgue when it's time to go, go time. Check my phone, get the deets. Grief demands I stay collected and kind. Big or small, old or young, everyone has something that they leave behind. Got a call that someone has just crossed over to RIP. Get it? R.I.P. So it's my job now to take them on their final road trip. When it's time to go, I'm on my way 'cause it's go time. I'll be there to pick you up. Yes, I'll be there in no time. My passengers might let out a wheeze or a hiss. It's strange, but not quite as bad as when they smell like people smell. I'll get them safely to the morgue. When it's time to go,
she's on her way, it's go time. She'll be here to pick us up, if she gets here in no time.
It's an odd job to be doing on the side,
but it must be done, we're grateful for the ride. She'll get us safely to the morgue, safely to the morgue. When it's time to go,
when it's time to go, when it's time to go, go time.
Ooh, watch out!
Liv!
What? He was being a total jerk.
Well, I wasn't watching where I was going.
No one is. Everyone's in their heads. It's finals.
Exactly. Let's give people some slack.
Speaking of which, did you remember to bring that book today?
Shoot. No, sorry. The shifts were really busy this week.
It was a good weekend to go, was it?
I guess so.
But were they good deaths?
I don't know yet. I still don't know exactly what that means.
Even after reading all of those?
Well, I haven't read all of these yet.
Well, maybe the answer's in there somewhere.
I wish I could just talk to someone who's died. I just want to ask them if they're happy.
Well, they're dead, so I can't imagine they're too thrilled.
No, I mean, are they happy with the way it went? Would they have done something differently? Do they even care about what they leave behind?
Yeah, maybe you should ask the people at work.
Hilarious.
Didn't you tell me that you talked to someone at work once?
Oh, well, it wasn't exactly talking. I was putting a body in the cooler, and I thought they were cold because it sounded like they said, heat.
Oh, it just gave me a shiver. How do you do that job?
I like death, like for researching, because my thesis is like about the good death, so.
Well, it would be too much for me. It's kind of weird and like morbid. I don't want to think about dying the whole time I'm alive.
Well, that's the thing. No one talks about it.
Yeah, well, there are things that I want to think about and do that aren't about dying.
Well, it isn't for everyone.
Listen, I gotta run. Gonna be late for the lecture. Have a good day trying to talk to the dead.
Oh, thanks. Have fun listening to someone talk about everything that won't be on your final.
Oh, and I'll see you tonight, right? I got one of those bride-to-be sashes.
Yeah, I wouldn't miss it.
Great. No death. Tonight, we're gonna live it up.
Colonel Mustard in the library, and we don't even bat an eye. We're surrounded by death, from games to TV, yet never fully grasping the big goodbye. Now I'm with my laptop in the library, browsing dozens of pages and sites. I'm surrounded by death through my side job and school, and I can't douse the flame it ignites. Who decides the meaning of a good death? Who decides, and who even gets to choose? Is it important? Do we all get one? Do some win out and some lose? I've read thousands of pages, spanning thousands of years, from words of the sages to opinions of peers. It may not be easy to fathom, but I try. What makes a good death when we die? Is there something that comes after? Is it all about how we go? Can someone die of fright or laughter? Is there an easy way to know? I've met with pastors, priests and bishops, swamis, rabbis, and any mom. Does faith really offer any insight at all? Where's the proof we should face death with calm? Who decides the meaning of a good death? Who decides, and who even gets to choose? Is it important? Do we all get one? Do some win out and some lose? I've read thousands of pages, spanning thousands of years, from words of the sages to opinions of peers. It may not be easy to fathom or define, but I try. What makes a good death when we die?
Edna Potter. The Daisy Room at the Garden House. 77 Growers Link. Edna? Edna, dear? Sweetie, I'm right here. Can you hear me? I love you. I was here just yesterday. You kissed me on the head. We were joking and laughing, weren't we? As I tucked you into bed. I did not want to go. I didn't want to go. Look, here's our photo. 50 years ago last May, we honeymooned in Niagara. Even though I thought it was cliche, I didn't want to go, I didn't want to go, but I loved it, because I love you. I will carry you always till we meet, my bride, my angel, my darling, we'll always be together.
It's time now, Ed. I'm sorry.
They're going to take her away?
Come on, Ed.
They're here to take you, darling. They'll take good care, I'm sure. I miss you, dear, already. I miss the way things were. I do not want to go. I do not want to go. I love you so much.
Ed, it's time to go.
No, I don't want to go.
Why don't we let this nice girl take care of Edna? Let's go get a tea going for you.
I don't want to.
Oh, come on, Ed.
When it's time to go, when it's time to go, I'll get you safely to the morgue. When it's time to go. Good night, Edna.
Is there anywhere to sit? From the time we're born, we have people all around us. No one truly gets anywhere alone. No matter how independent, no matter how shy, we're all just walking each other home. We've got best friends and school friends, we're colleagues, we wish we didn't. We've got enemies and frenemies and lovers who are forbidden. So let's drink to finding the people who carry us, lift us and love us enough to even marry us, to the bride and all we are together. No one is an island in stormy weather. We're all in this same boat called life. May you be the mostest, happiest wife.
I've learned a lot of things since I got married. Put the toilet seat down and always make your bed.
Your mom didn't teach you that?
I've learned the key to getting through better and worse. Having someone in your corner is how we move ahead. Even thick times or thin times, whether awesome, bland, or rough, knowing someone's got your back, now that's some magic stuff. So let's drink to high tides, the low tides and middle, the ones whose support can make problems seem little, to the bright and all we are together. No one is an island in stormy weather. We're all in this same boat called life. May you be the mostest, happiest wife.
Here's to holding someone at night.
Here's to getting kicked in your sleep.
Here's to watching sunsets and clouds.
Here's to mornings no one says a peep.
Here's to someone to give you advice.
Here's to someone just willing to listen.
Here's to a co-pilot who knows where to turn.
Or not.
As long as you're together, who cares what you're missing?
So let's drink to finding the people who carry us.
Lift us and love us, enough to even marry us. To the bright and long we all together. No one is an island in stormy weather. We're all in this same boat called life. May you be the mostest, happiest wife.
How long? Oh. Uh-huh.
Who decides the meaning of a good death? Who decides and who even gets to choose? It may not be easy to fathom, but I try. What makes a good death when we die?
So let's drink to finding the people who carry us. Lift us and love us, enough to even marry us. To the bright and long we're all together. No one is an island in stormy weather. We're all in this same boat called life. May you be the mostest, happiest wife. To life.
You know, you didn't have to look so disappointed when everything was blue.
What?
When you walked in, it was supposed to be a nice surprise.
I don't mind blue. I like blue.
You don't mind blue?
I like it, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry I was late.
Did you see this baby food processor? Like, what makes it specifically for babies? Isn't it like the same as a regular food processor?
It's so they can charge an extra $20 for it.
You're probably right. It is cute. Look at the little carrot on the front.
That's a $20 carrot right there. Oh, you got I Love You As Much. I remember reading this as a kid.
No, you don't. Do you remember me reading it to you?
That's what I meant. I remember the pictures.
I always like this one too. You always like this one the best, the whale page. I love you as much as the ocean is deep.
I loved it because you always made the whale sound afterwards.
Oh, right. I think I want to name him Sam.
Oh, sorry.
What? No, what? You go ahead.
No, you picked a name?
Yeah, Samson. It means son.
That's a good name. I like Sam.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to grow into Samson.
You're going to be a good mom, Asha.
And you'll be a great aunt.
Yeah.
You need to eat more of these snacks. I'm fat enough as it is. Want to take some home with you?
I have a shift right away. I'm not sure if I'll have time to stop at home.
Oh, right. I guess you can't really share with the people at work.
I don't think they're really in a celebratory mood.
The cupcakes are blue. That could be sad.
Sure, I'll take one, but I don't think I can take any with me.
Sure. Here, I'll put one on a plate for you. What's the matter?
Nothing. It's just that they wanted to run some tests.
For what?
I wasn't sure exactly, but I got a call.
Time to go?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's work.
That's okay. We can chat soon, yeah?
Yeah,
Thanks for coming and helping to clean up a bit.
of course.
I can't wait for you to meet this little guy, Sammy.
Baby Sammy is cute.
Oh, you look like one of your pickups.
Oh, I can do it, Ash.
Oh, don't use your sleeve.
You know what? I take back what I said about you becoming a good mom. You already are one.
Okay. Too much. I get it. I'll see you soon and you can tell me about your call. I'm sure it'll all turn out fine. They always want to check every little anomaly. I know how it is. At my appointments, they always make it sound like things could go downhill with the slightest wrong move.
Yeah.
Morana, look at me. It'll all be okay. I promise. Okay?
Okay.
Bye, Mo. Thanks again. Hey! Moo!
Hey there.
Oh my God. I didn't see you there.
Sorry, I'm not usually here so late.
Yeah, I know.
I was just finishing up some stuff.
Oh, sorry to bother. I'll be out of here in a sec.
It's no bother. So, what made you get into death?
I guess I like being alone. Oh no. I mean, sorry.
No,
I didn't mean...
no, it's not that. It's that you work with a lot of people.
Yeah, I guess so. And you?
Yeah, the people are great. Always someone to blame for a fart.
That's so gross.
What? This is the perfect place for someone with a flatulent problem. The smell overpowers any stink that can possibly come from a living being.
You? What are you saying? You have a problem with flatulence?
Oh, yeah. Don't you? I thought that's why anyone would willingly spend hours down here. The outside world can't handle us in our stinkiness.
Is that why the world can't handle us?
That's my conspiracy theory, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, Stinker, you stay on your side of the room.
Good idea. We'll cover more ground that way. Sorry, that was a bit too far. I'm digging myself a hole. No pun intended. Sorry.
I don't want to be in a hole when I die. I mean, I want to be eaten by animals.
That's how you want to die?
No, after I die, I want to have that thing where they turn you into compost and you become worm food. And then a bird eats the worm and you're in the bird. And then a coyote eats the bird and then you're in a coyote. And, you know, the whole circle of life thing. It's good for the environment too.
You've thought a lot about that plan.
Yeah, I guess. It's just something I think about, especially since...
What?
Nothing. I just think about it a lot.
Yeah, I think this job does that to you. Or maybe that's why we work down here.
That's why the world can't handle us.
What?
Your conspiracy theory, if that isn't the reason, it's because we think about death more than the people up there.
Oh, yeah, that's probably true. I like to think that we're like scuba divers down here.
Scuba divers.
Yeah, like the ocean is this giant body of water that we can't even drink. Like, have you seen how huge whales are? They are ginormous. Seriously. And everyone up there is scared. But we come down here because the sea calls us or something, and we look the whales in the eyes and study them. And it doesn't make it any less scary. But maybe we don't mind diving in and getting wet a bit. And part of us likes it even. At least we've seen the sea, you know? It isn't completely mysterious. Did you write that down somewhere?
What?
The thing about getting eaten by animals. Did you write it down?
Oh, no, not really.
I mean, if that's what you really want, you should write it down. Then people will know. When you're gone. I mean, there's a pamphlet on the counter if you want about writing a death plan. You don't have to be dying to write one. You don't have to take the pamphlet either.
Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just about done here. Are you heading out?
I still need to lotion this guy up.
Okay. I'll leave the lights on in the stairs. Sometimes it's hard to find the switch.
Yeah, I know.
Right. Keep on swimming.
Hey, Asha. Do you have any cupcakes left? It was from the oncologist. The call, he said it's too late.
What?
It's too far. It's everywhere. It's in my breasts, my bones, my stomach, my lungs. It's close to my heart. And there's nothing they can do.
Oh, Mo, come here.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to die.
Look at me. We are going to get through this together. Okay?
I want a good death, Asha.
Okay.
I'm standing in this boat called life. The ocean is serene around me, deep and obscure, so full of wonder. There's so much more than what I can see. Before I dive in, I'll collect all my memories inside me. All the things that I've done to cherish, the sweet dreams of things that were delicious to plan. Before you dive in, I'll do my best to rally round you. Friends and family will lift and love you. You'll meet baby Sammy before you dive in. Some endings may be unexpected, but the end must surely come. Endings are as important as beginnings, so you don't need to fear or feel numb. Before you dive in, you'll decide you can face your good death. We'll do our best to reach out to others. We can be ready for the end, at peace with ending together. I'm standing in this boat called life, feeling the air around me. However you go, you have to remember Your way is the good way if you can choose it and you decide. As long as I know I must dive. As long as I know I must.
There are still some things I want to do, Ash. I'm not ready yet.
Then you'll have to fight it.
What if I do it all wrong?
However you go, you'll have to remember your way is the good way if you can choose it and you decide.
The cancer tore at her for 3 months, but she successfully defended her thesis 4 hours before her second round of aggressive chemotherapy.
She sat in a chair next to me while I said my vows.
It's hard to stand for very long after the chemo has a go at you.
She met her nephew and held him in her arms. I decided on Mortimer, the good death.
Beginnings.
She read Little Mortimer, I love you as much, and made all the sounds.
Bay! Quack! Whoa!
The end.
Somehow she knew when it was time. She didn't want anyone to fuss. So I opened all the windows to let the fresh air blow the curtains into the room like they were laundry hung out to dry. The sun shone on her face. She was glowing and fading all at once.
She wanted me to sit nearby and read a poem to her. The earth has guilt, the earth has care, unquiet are its graves, but peaceful sleep is ever there, beneath the dark blue waves.
It has to finish at some point.
For many, the last words are held forever in the hearts of those who loved.
She gave a feeble prayer at the end.
I think it was a prayer or a poem.
She said what was on her heart.
She was letting go.
She was leaving.
She stopped breathing.
She was diving.
It hardly made a splash, really. But I like to imagine the ripples she made will continue to roll and build until they turn into waves that lap onto a faraway shore and tickle the toes of a child.
It was surrender.
It was freedom.
It was peaceful.
It was time to go.
Who decides the meaning of a good death?
Who decides and who even gets to choose?
It may not be easy to fathom, but we try.
What makes a good death when we die?
You're live, Stephen.
Hi.
You're live.
What's
I
up?
couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you in the other thing. But I'll let you take it from here.
Okay. Do we have everybody here? Can we get everybody on the screen, or do we
can
want
get everybody on screen? Yes, we can. Would you like to introduce people?
I also have a question for Leah and Kim. Are you getting the Facebook comments in your feed?
We should be getting them right off to the side. Yes, I am getting them. And so I can pop them up.
Sure. Like if there's any questions there.
Yeah.
So let's maybe start with introducing people. So my name is Stephen Morton, and I am the person who thought that this would be a good idea. And I was also the lyricist for this project. Leah, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Leah Nicholson. I am a filmmaker, and I am somebody who agreed to be a part of this.
Okay, let's get Mike on.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mike, and like Leah, I agreed to be a part of this, and I was the composer for the show.
And last but certainly not least... Oh, I think she's muted.
You're muted. You're muted. Oh, I can't hear you. Yes.
Okay, great. I just took the headphones out. I'm Ainsley, and I wrote the words for the show.
All right, we have our first question. I'm just going to pop it up on screen for you guys. There you go.
Bruce Miller asks, what was the inspiration for this? So, let's start with the inspiration for the program for Flourish Musical Theater Creative Workshop or Creation Workshop. The inspiration for this was that I felt there was a bit of a need for people to have some training and some opportunity to practice writing musicals, because there's a lot of people who are like, I want to write a musical, and sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. And I thought that creating a program where we provide some tools, we provide some mentorship and some discussion and some collaboration would be a great way to kickstart that. In addition to having this really accelerated timeline that just like forces you to write. I was involved with the High Performance Rodeo 10-Minute Play Festival in January of 2020. And for some people who are familiar with that, the premise is theater companies from around Calgary, they come, they decide to participate, and you have 24 hours to create a 10-minute show. And I did that with Cowtown Opera Company, and we created a 10-minute opera where we had probably about a dozen different opera excerpts, and we created a whole original story using these excerpts and rewriting the lyrics. And then 24 hours later, we were on stage performing it, and hilarity ensued. The idea for this show, I'll let maybe Leah or Ainsley speak to how we came up for the concept for The Good Death. Muted.
Oh, I did it. I did a web sin. I did a bad one. Sorry, everybody. When we were in like the process of deciding what we wanted to kind of make a musical about, when we were brainstorming things like that, one of the questions that Stephen asked are, what are things that preoccupy us, or things that are on our mind? And weirdly, the things that have been on my mind recently are death and the ocean. Those were two kind of themes, and I think weirdly those all kind of resonated with all of us. And just because I had like a health issue in January where I was in the hospital actually, and it was one of those things where it was like, oh, this is like and it wasn't COVID. It wasn't COVID related. It was a separate issue. It kind of made me realize that I had not really confronted any like kind of mortality or my own mortality. And so I got really interested in death, and then that led me into a death industry researching things. And so when I brought that up,
we had a little freeze moment here.
I think what she was...
jump in, Ainsley.
I think what she was about to say was that we found a connection because I worked in the death industry just briefly. I was an emergency transport worker, so I picked up dead bodies for a little bit of time, and I took them on my gurney into the morgue, just like Morana does in the show. So it was a theme that was already something that I thought a lot about and wanted to ask questions about and delve into and figure out. And then the theme of the good death came up for us all. And so we just started writing about the good death. And I think I came out with 1 or 2 scenes after the first night of talking, and then some more scenes and some more scenes. And by halfway through the week, we had the scenes written and we had some songs written. And then by the end of the first week, we had a first read of a whole show with songs and scenes and everything. And we brought in some actors.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm just hopping over.
Sorry, my computer crashed. I'm back. But
Okay.
it was for Ainsley to take it, so my computer's like, Ainsley can take it from here. Just go.
Which I did.
Yes, good. Yes, perfect.
So there's some more questions here.
Yes, I'll pop them up here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
With language such as choosing your death, was there discussion or thought around euthanasia in building this story? That is something that we definitely discussed as we were talking about being able to choose how you want your end of life experience to be. We didn't decide to put it into the story as a discussion element in the story, but it's definitely something that a lot of people talk about. I've heard different news stories about it. Anybody else have any comment on that?
Oh, just that there was a bill that was recently passed, and I'm tangentially involved with a organization called Dying with Dignity. And so again, I guess I've weirdly surrounded myself with death in many ways. But it's about, like the medical assisted suicide, euthanasia, and things like that. And that's like a conversation that obviously we definitely had like as a creative team of like, well, even just deciding and how and what and all these things of our character and how they were going to die. And so that's kind of, we discussed a lot about death. We all had real in-depth conversations about death. And then I also had some with the actors as well. So we talked a lot about death.
That's a good segue before we take our next question. Let's introduce our actors, if we can bring them on, and we'll have them. And we are so grateful to these people who they have been with us only for a week. Well, so the 4 of us, I'm the only common link between these other 3 people. They did not know each other prior to 2 Fridays ago. And then all of these other actors came into the picture last Saturday when we had the first read-through of this show. So let's bring on some actors and get to know our performers, who we are so grateful for. Can we pop some of them on? Oh, I think Leah might have frozen again.
Oh, no.
He's working it out. Okay. I can read the next question. Heather Spearman O'Berry says, again, performers, yay. Yes, thank you, Heather. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so our question that we have, I hope Leah will be back in just a bit, is from Cody Rowland. How did you folks navigate the working relationship within such a short creation process? When did you folks bring in actors, and what did that workshopping process look like? Okay, great question. And I kind of answered it already, that we brought in the actors on last Saturday. So we met on Friday 2 weeks ago. And we did some discussion about musicals, we did some brainstorming. And then by Tuesday, we were like, okay, let's get some actors. So then we put out kind of an audition notice. We were contacting friends and colleagues. And by Tuesday, by Thursday, I think we had locked in who was going to be in the show, the 6 performers. But yeah, so Mike, why don't you talk about, or Mike or Ainsley, talk about how we communicated, and because none of us have been in the same room in these whole 2 weeks. Nobody has been in the same room. Hi, Leah.
I've barely been in the chat because my computer keeps crashing because it has too many bits and too many bytes. It worked too hard today.
So the question was about how we navigated the working relationship in such a short creation process.
I can bring that up on screen. Yes, I see it.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
I don't know, but we did it, and we did it with like grace and support and love for each other and respect for each other. And it was one of the most delightful creative processes I've ever been a part of, with some people that I really admire and respect and am in awe of their talent and their commitment. And I can't imagine working with a better group of people. And I just feel so fortunate to have been a part of this, even though that's real sappy. And I guess I'm getting real mushy. I'm getting sentimental in my old age.
Okay, Ainsley.
Yeah, well, I hated you all the whole time. Just kidding. It was great. It was wonderful. I just felt in awe because I felt like I was trying to catch up with all of your brilliance. But yeah, but you guys were all so good to me.
So let's just make a point of this right now that so Leah, when she introduced herself, she talks about working in film, and her experiences in film directing, which was a huge asset. And the next question that we're going to deal with, I think we'll cover that. Let's make sure we introduce our actors before that. But so my point being is that Leah is not necessarily a theater director. This is Ainsley's first script, and it's so lovely and so well written. She did an amazing job. This is Mike's first musical. He has not composed songs for musical. Tell us about your song composition background, Mike.
Yeah, so I mean, my song composition background is, well, it's virtually zilch. My musical background is extensive, but in terms of actually composing something, unless you can count extending a couple of scene change bits in Avenue Q, that's about the extent of it. So yeah, this is all new to me, and if I could just take a second to say, for just more to the point, like to Cody's question, is that when it comes to the process, the whole short creation process, it was as was mentioned, it was really touch and go, but it was, we all cared about getting it done, and I think we all really enjoy each other's company, even if it's just virtual. That we really wanted to help each other out and get it done. And well, no, I think the first thing I remember is that I don't think that anyone said, okay, we need to have this much of the script done. And then we woke up and Ainsley had a lot of script done this one morning. She was so quick, and it was so good already from the start. So, and then from that, then I got lyrics from Steven, and those lyrics and her script made it easy to do. Well, not easy every day, but it could have been way harder if I wasn't dealing with good content and inspiring content.
Okay,
so that's all I just really have to say. So on the actors?
Yeah, let's get the actors. How about let's have them tell something like super cool or interesting about themselves, maybe their performance background, or let's go.
All right, I'm going to bring Caitlyn in, even though it still says her name is Morana.
Okay.
That might not be on the stream. Hi, Caitlyn.
Something super cool or interesting. Oh my gosh. Well, performance background. Okay, so I went to Rosebud School of the Arts. I graduated in 2018. I did their 4-year conservatory program. This is my first time performing theater in like a year. So, oh man, it's just like a breath of fresh air to be back and to be acting and singing again. It's so nice. So very grateful to be here.
We're so happy to have you.
Happy to have you. All right, I'm just going to add everybody in the order that they're on the stream here. Hi, Alex.
Hi, guys.
Just introduce yourself.
I'm Alex. No pressure. They didn't tell us to prepare anything for something interesting and cool about ourselves. I am on my second day of a 14-day quarantine, and it's thrown into really harsh perspective how much can be accomplished in 14 days and how little I plan on doing in the next 14 days on the flip side of this.
We're hoping everything goes good. All right, let's pop over to Selena. Hi, Selena.
Hey, guys. couple of things. I'm American, but I live in Calgary. My husband's Canadian. We met working on cruise ships together. I was the singer on the ships. And I have 2 sons that are 4 and 6. And I have a BFA in musical theater from the States. And then I performed on cruise ships and worked in Florida for a few years. And I've done a little bit here with, I was in theater Calgary's Spotlight at the Eddy a couple times. And I was featured with their TC Takeout a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
All right, and let's pop over to Murray. Hi, Murray.
Hi, I'm Murray Melnychuk. I have been involved in community theater a long time ago, and then I took a 26-year hiatus, and then I've done about 20 shows in the last roughly 8 years. I am also a financial advisor, and regarding death, I help clients plan for death, accumulate money that is in turn inherited by their children, and that becomes a goal of their life. They plan for death, and the estate planning aspect becomes complicated, and quite frankly, the 10-minute audition that I had with Leah turned into a 50-minute chat because we talked about so many various aspects of death and planning for death and dealing with death and the after-death aspects of the death industry. So I was instantly very interested in this project because there's so many aspects to it that people don't really take a lot of time to think about, and this is a great forum to start the conversation, because I think it's something everybody should think about and plan for, and most importantly, talk to your family members about, because nobody wants surprises after a very grievous time.
Thank you, Murray.
All right, let's get James on the line. Hi.
Hey folks, my name is James Damocles, and I, unlike my colleagues, don't have a super big background in theater. This is actually my first musical that I've ever done. My background is in psychology and education, with a little bit of spice, adding in intersections between psychology and theater. But yeah, just somebody who wants to become a drama teacher, it's just been a really great experience to be able to work with some super amazing actors and see what theater has been looking like online because of this current situation.
Cool.
Thank you. All right, and then we have one more person. Look at Sam. Hi, Sam. All right, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name. So I didn't unmute myself quickly. My name is Sam, and I'm delighted and so happy to be sharing space with all of this amazing talent in the room. And I've always loved and wanted to do drama, but I've never had a chance to do since I came to this country about 2 years ago. And then Leah reached out, and I was like, "Oh, I'm definitely gonna jump on this one." Then I discovered that it was a musical. Like, okay, musical. I am not exactly sure. Like, whatever it is, I'm just gonna contribute however little or however much, and just kind of cut my teeth in the drama scene or theater scene in the city of Calgary. And I'm so happy that I got to get the opportunity to do that. My background is in IT. I also work as an IT administrator for the amazing YMCA. And in 2019, just when I came into the country, I won the award as the new Canadian Artist of the Year as a digital photographer, which is currently what I do and my main platform of art. And I'm hoping that for me, I'm hoping that this will be like the beginning of many other adventure in the theater space in the city of Calgary. Thank you so much, and thank you guys for watching. Thank you all for your amazing comments, amazing script. Thank you all. I appreciate this.
Thank you so much, Sam. All right, we got another question. Let's pop her up on the screen. Here we go.
What specific challenges did you face in writing and performing this? How did you navigate the timing of the music with the actors, etc.? So, Leah, why don't we turn that over to you? I think Mike might be able to chime in a bit as well, but Leah, go ahead. Leah is having a nervous breakdown at this moment because she has been editing her brains out. So, if you couldn't tell, we did segue so that we did all of the singing pre-recorded so that we could just switch over to it and so that we could layer some of the parts. Again, as we said, nobody has ever been in the same room. And so getting some of this stuff to line up was a challenge. But I mean, for something that we created in 2 weeks, I'm pretty satisfied. And I was really grateful that so many people joined us.
Especially considering we got the music 2 days ago.
2 days.
Do you hear that? 2 days ago.
Can we say that one more time?
I want two.
So I think perhaps to speak to that challenge, like the challenge of notating and getting tracks ready, Mike, could you just talk a little bit about that process?
Yeah, because when you have, I mean, it was, well, as everyone said, 2 days ago, and we had nothing. I think when I last checked, I think the first bit of music that actually came out of my head that got recorded was about like a week and a half ago, and that was just more or less the opening number. And from that, it's recording myself on a piano, recording myself for however long it takes to get songs out, and then going through the recordings, what's good, what works, what doesn't, then putting it into notation. Then did I read the words right in the recording of myself just brainstorming that Stephen wrote? Does it work? Does it fit with the music? Luckily, I do have a program that when I do notation, then I can export that to tracks to help everyone learn the music immediately. But that's about the only slight advantage maybe that we have. Other than that, it is a lot of work to come up with just unique music. And then after you write it, you wonder, wait, did I just rip something off? Are we going to get sued? So many things to consider.
It happens all the time, I think, little stolen melodies. I want to point out two things. We may stay on here for Q&A for maybe till like 8:15. And I also do want to say we had an amazing stage manager, Cheel, who was helping with bringing people on and off the screen, with putting the videos, like switching from live to pre-recorded. And she was also just a huge help during the production process. She also joined us only a week ago. So it was just the four people on the writing team for the first week, and then all the actors and Kim joined us. But she was just amazing and stepped up like you wouldn't believe. She was great. Okay, next question. Do you find? Oh, is it going? What? I know there were other questions. Okay, Alex Kalman. Hi, Alex. It's great to have you listening. What are your hopes and dreams for the future of this show? Well, we know that the stage 1 lunchbox deadline is coming up next week. And we talked about, submitting perhaps. I mean, we do essentially have something that we can submit. We do have notated sheet music and a script, so we can submit to that. A lot of times during the discussion of this show, like during the writing of it, we would say when this becomes an hour-long production, or if this were a full production. So I don't know I don't think this is something we're gonna abandon anytime soon. I don't know. Anybody else want to speak to that?
I'm
this group? Oh yeah, go ahead, Mike.
If you want to keep going, let's do it.
Same with me. I'm all in. Wherever you guys want to go, I'm with you. Whatever I can do. I love this, and I love you.
We were joking the other day, it wasn't me. Somebody was joking about doing this again, like doing another 2 weeks and writing a whole new show.
It was me. It was my funny joke while I was having just a little baby nervous breakdown. Just a little one. Just a teeny one.
Perpetually, right?
Yeah,
every
just
2
writing
weeks.
a new show. if anybody's interested, there is actually a podcast that I found after I had come up with the idea for this program. And it is called 1 Million Musicals. And the people who run that podcast, they're not paying me to say this, but you can go look them up. They are writing one new musical every month. And it's essentially like a 30 to 40 minute musical, just like what we've done. But they're writing a new musical every month and releasing it on podcast form, kind of like a radio play style. Go check them out.
Why would you put yourself through that? Why?
I need to go have like 3 naps. All right, and I just want to acknowledge that Bruce asked the question as well, and they're making it 2 at. Yeah, it seems like we like each other, and we think we like this show. So, all right, let's move on to a next question.
For the actors, what was it like exploring your own thoughts on death for this production? What's something you learned? All right, let's go in the same order that you or let's go in the opposite order you joined us.
Yeah.
Let's start with Sam.
For one, I learned that the dead do sing. Yeah, it's been a while that I've been fascinated by the subject of death, and having to be this close to it, and deal with the topic of death and kind of like wrap my mind around the realities of how will I like to die and to consider I died well. All of those things got me thinking for many nights, and eventually I just let it lie and just like, okay, whichever way you die, that has to be a good death. And that's how I eventually resolved that in my head, and I learned that from the show.
Thank you, James.
Yeah, this is a question that I've definitely been pondering for the past week or so here, which is asked by my fiance, who's sitting literally like right next to me, which she's heard my answer about this already. But yeah, so something that I've learned about this is that death is death. At the end of the day, everybody worries about death in some way, shape, or form. But you know who doesn't worry about death? Dead people. And so in a way, my own conclusion just in doing character work and going through, I guess, the emotions for this is that, yeah, death is coming, but at the end of the day, once we're dead, we're not going to have to worry about it anymore. So to not be as calloused, I just want to say, why waste time worrying about death that's coming? And then you remove yourself from the from living life. And yes, it's something that's coming, something that's scary, but that doesn't mean it's something that needs to paralyze us, that we forget how to live at the end of the day. So
cool.
Nice.
Murray?
To add to what I'd said before, I am 65 years old. I just turned 65 recently, getting my COVID shot next week. Anyway, my dad died February of last year before COVID kind of moved in. My mother is in a nursing home with Alzheimer's. So with all those kinds of things, and layering that on top of what I have experienced and thought and planned about financially and non-financially helping clients thinking about death. This is something that I've given a lot of thought to before this project. And so I have to admit, I really didn't learn anything more about the whole thing in this show. But it was nice that I could see that other people were learning and getting exposed to thinking about it, and it doesn't have to be a morbid kind of conversation. That's a really important thing that I think people have to understand when talking to families, is like within the family, is that this is just, people should talk about money, people should talk about death, people should talk.
Yep.
With that, I'll stop talking.
Thank you, Murray. Selena?
I agree with Murray in that. I mean, in the wonderful thing about being a part of this show is that it's normalizing it, and it should absolutely be normalized. Everybody dies, right? I mean, I'm not telling my 4-year-old that quite yet. He doesn't understand that concept. I don't look forward to that day when he realizes that. But it's also to what James said a little bit as well. It's the one solace is that we're all in the same boat, and it's and like, again, like Murray said, being part of the conversation and being able to talk about it and normalize it is very important. And this musical has brought that to light as well. And playing one of the characters, playing the sister of someone who has a terminal illness is absolutely relatable. Whether even if you haven't known someone with a terminal illness, everyone can relate to every character in here. They can relate to Morana and what she's going through, and because you can picture it, even if you haven't experienced it, and many people have experienced it. So it's been nice working with a group of people who are trying to get that message out and to try to start the conversation, for sure.
Thank you. Alex?
All right, buckle up, everyone. I got a lot of feelings about that. Selena, you can talk to 4-year-olds about death and should. I'm going to send you some resources in a version of
You're the educator, not me.
In a version of normalizing death and making it part of everyday conversation. There are things that we can say to very young children that they can understand that makes it a lot less of a problem when we do get older and have to start contemplating our own mortality.
Yeah, you don't want to come across it when you're 12 and like, what? That's
for the first time.
Yeah.
Which,
they know it in Minecraft and like Mario, like video games and stuff. You're dead. I'm dying. I just died. Oh, I'm gonna die. They say that all the time, but I don't think.
And that's in the show.
Experience with death, then that they're like, well, I'll just get another life and start again. And so it's really important to have conversations about what death means and like the permanence of death.
Having fish helps because fish die a lot. So we can. That was speaking of your fish dying.
I think that I am probably in the minority of somebody who's had a death plan for a very, very long time. And, a plan for my own exit, which is also, I think, a really common thing in my family and circle of friends. A lot of us have spent a lot of time on the idea of if you decide and you choose, then it's a good death. So this story of somebody who chooses to hang on, knowing that something like an assisted death might be an option and instead chooses to persist and continue, that was the struggle for me. I was like, who would choose that? Why would you not just go softly and gently at your own rate and by your own volition? So watching Morana's character, know everything that she knows about death and make a choice like that was a really interesting character study for me.
Thank you very much, Alex.
Send me that stuff. Yeah, I'd love to know how to talk to
I
you.
will. If anyone wants it, I can have it in the chat.
Let's do it. Yes.
I agree with everything that's been said. I would also say I have really vivid dreams, and when I'm in a show, I tend to have dreams about whatever's happening. And last night I had a dream that I was an administrative assistant for the afterlife, and that's all I'd ever known. And at the end of the dream, I was given the opportunity to go to Earth and live a life as a human. And it was so exciting. And I guess the way I'll connect that to this show is that I think thinking about death so much, I don't know, I just look at Morana and I'm like, I think it's good to remember that you have control of how you live. And so we can think about death all we want, but at the end of the day, we gotta live. That was not very well articulated, but yeah, that's what I would say. And that was my weird dream.
Okay, keep an eye on the time here. So we've actually been running for an hour 15. Thank you everyone who has stuck with us for this long. How cool. Thank you so much for your questions. It is such a topic that we all, in the show, it's interesting. One of my lyrics says, old or young, or sorry, big or small, old or young, there's something everybody leaves behind, and that's your body. And then later, or not later, prior to that, Morana is speaking with Liv, and Liv is kind of like, oh, it's so weird to talk about death. And Morana's like, well, it's not for everyone. But like, it is literally for everyone. we're all going to go someday.
Love it.
Anyways, do we have any more questions, Leah, that we can pop through, or do we want to wrap this up?
We do not.
Super. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for all of your lovely comments and everything. And for and there's no angry, hateful comments on the internet. There's no angry, hateful comments.
That's for the YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's gonna be ugly. Don't go down to those comments.
So I just want to express gratitude again to everyone who participated, from the creative team to our stage manager to all the actors. It's just so amazing when you have an idea. So this idea came to me like 3 months ago, and to see it come to life is so cool. So thank you very much. So much gratitude from my heart. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to everyone who stuck it out through all the Q&A. We get really chatty. Theater people love to talk to each other, and they love to talk.
About ourselves, yeah.
And also thank you, Stephen, by the way, for putting this together, for coming up with this crazy and amazing idea. I think everyone is very grateful for what you've done. I don't speak for everyone, but this is just my thoughts. So thank you, Stephen.
So maybe to speak to that, as far as like what this might look like in the summer. In the summer, this program will be offered in a similar format where we want writing teams to come together. It's a program where we will be providing actors for you. We will be providing mentors for you. We will be providing discussion topics, brainstorming topics, and helping you walk through the process of writing a show. Ideally, we would love to assemble 3 to 5 writing teams to work together or work in their teams for the 2 weeks. And at the end of the 2 weeks, we would have a presentation of 3 to 5 brand new little musicals. So follow us, contact me. Yeah, looking forward to it. And with that,
thanks so much.
I'm back. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Night. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Bye.
Theater is not dead.
Theater day.
But one of our characters certainly is.
Let us go. Just
Too soon.